Art Room here to talk with Kay, who is currently part of our exhibition, Interchanging Lines, Constructing Homes. Kay, what do you want to tell us today about your work?
I want to say thanks so much for having me and giving me this opportunity. It's really exciting to talk with you and be amongst such amazing artists, and especially in an exhibition that feels so timely and important in a time where, we don't have the opportunity to get together and talk about artwork in person. So this seems like um, such a great way to sort of fill that void. When I was thinking about this exhibition, I thought that it was it sort of connects to some of the ideas that I explore in my own work, where I'm thinking about what home looks like. Is it a body? Is it a geographic location? Is it a building? Is it a state of mind? Is it community? Is it a chosen family, for example? And it just feels like a really important theme that we all need to be talking about right now. And I think it is pretty diverse, and that's what you want in a show where you're talking about intersections of not just like identity and experiences and where they come from and what they can bring to the table, but you're also talking about home. You're questioning what a home is. I think it's really important to make it as diverse as possible. When I was making the work, I was thinking about like a curtain closing. But it's like this permeable curtain, like the piece, it's just, I individually glued like strands of thread. Yeah, I'm someone who's really interested in the multiple and the labor involved in it. So sometimes I definitely work harder rather than smarter. Yeah, I individually glued like, hundreds of pieces of thread to this black velvet background with this like chunky gold frame that I got from the thrift store. And I was just thinking about this curtain closing. You're like in the middle of saying, I'm not finished, and there's a curtain that's being drawn down on you. It's got this like super bright red thread with this like black background, and then this like sort of creamy text on top, and it's just a little handwritten, and it's just something that I find myself saying all the time, like I'm not finished. And that sort of leads me into some of the other things that I've been other themes that I've been exploring, because my work it's deeply personal, but it's all based off of my own experiences and experiences that I have found sort of like through lines to other folks who identify in the same way that I do or a similar way. And I think the work that I'm making right now, the best way to put it is it's examining a spectrum that encompasses my experiences with being closeted on one side and then being out on the other, and like everything in between. So the prevailing truth that I've learned is that, nothing is a monolith. And the idea of what gender discovery looks like isn't the same for every single person. And I think there's this perception that there's a starting point and a transition, and there's this end point, and it looks like X, like it has to look like whatever is palatable, right? And that's just not the case. Like for so many people, myself, that's just not it. So I find that there's this like romanticized idea that even I myself sort of buy into at times, where there's this endpoint that exists for everyone, when for me it's just been like this mess of trying to figure everything out and there's really no end in sight, right? And so much of my work is just about coming to terms with all of that. It's a record. It really is of what I'm experiencing and when I'm experiencing, and the ideas that I'm having that are changing, and discovering all these things about myself that are indeed changing, and maybe falling back sometimes, and then moving forward. And yeah.
All right. Thanks, Kay. You can see more of Kay's work at artroomfw.org.
So my website is www.kayseedig.com.